Welcome, everybody. We're covering Flygon, the Flygon line, alright? First things first, yes, they are now pseudos, okay? That's kind of a given. In this ROM hack, if you're new here, hello, by the way. For my returning viewers, welcome back. And the power levels of this hack are very high, so we have several new pseudos and also other tiers of Pokemon like 575, base out total, and whatnot. So, Flygon fits very well as a pseudo, and I mean, it always should have been one in my opinion. It's just kind of a shame that they have cucked Flygon over the years. Flygon and Vibrava and even Trapinch, all three of them are actually incredible now. Yes, they do have an arguably worse typing in Bug Dragon, but keep in mind in this ROM hack, one of the main points is to make every Pokemon viable, incredibly good, and also unique. So yeah, I could have kept it as Bug Dragon Ground, but then it would be overlapping with Zygarde and Garchomp, and both of those already have their own niches, with Zygarde being Zygarde was gonna be sick. I'm excited to get to Zygarde, but and then Garchomp is just gonna be Garchomp, but slightly better, of course, because of all the buffs and changes in the hack. So Flygon wouldn't really have any point as a Dragon Ground type. In my old docs, I actually had Flygon as a Bug Ground type, but that feels kind of cursed, I'm not gonna lie. So there are two Bug Dragon types in this hack, Yanmega and Flygon. Yanmega is much faster and a good amount stronger than the Flygon specially. I believe Yanmega's 126 special attack or something. What did I give it again? Yeah, 126 special attack and 146 speed and tinted lens. However, Yanmega is only a special attacker, not an amazing mix attacker. It lacks the incredible coverage moves that Flygon has, which, to be fair, is not a problem, given that it has tinted lens. But its main issue is that it's paper thin, despite the decent HP stat in this hack. So, it's harder to get it on the field and stuff. Flygon actually has really solid bulk overall. If you come and look here, yeah, I mean, it's got 92 HP because it is a pretty large guy, and then 80 base defenses. Obviously, Bug Dragon is pretty shit defensively. I did buff Bug offensively. For example, Fairy, Fighting, and Ghost no longer resist your Bug Stab, which is great. That means that Bug Dragon has amazing neutral coverage. And then for the stuff that does resist your stab, you have access to stuff, you have Ground and Fire and Poison and all these other coverage moves, Fighting, etc. However, one thing you need to remember is that there's so much I want to get into, so forgive me if I'm a little bit all over the place if you are new here. I'm sure if you're returning, you probably know that by now. But Flygon is still very fast, and despite being weaker than Yanmega special attack-wise, not only is it physical, or a mixed attacker, it also has access to a boosting ability, an Amplifier. So while Tinted Lens is fucking insane, and I love Tinted Lens, Amplifier does make Flygon's special attack stat roughly higher than Yanmega's, because Flygon's special attack is only 8 points lower than Yanmega's in this hack, and that 20% boost to your sound moves from Amplifier is insane. So if you click here, you can see a detailed list of all those moves. Not to mention, by the way, if you are new here, also if you're returning and you haven't done this yet, make sure you give the move sheet down below a look. There is a very detailed Google sheet with all of these Pokemon buffs and changes in the description down below, and you can see all this awesome stuff. If you click search all moves here, you can see everything, and you can search up every move. Every move has changed or buffed in some regard, so I would definitely give that a look. But I do have the effects and power of these moves here as well. So Flygon has some incredible stuff with Amplifier. His best options are Draconic Wave and Bug Buzz because they are stab, of course. Draconic Wave becomes a 150 base power drawback-free version of Boom Burst, essentially. It's Dragon-type Boom Burst. However, Boom Burst and Draconic Wave are quote-unquote only, I'm using that term very loosely, 125 base power instead of 140, just for balancing reasons. I mean, 125 with 0 drawbacks is still insane. So, it just makes it so it doesn't completely outclass moves like Draco Meteor and Draconic Beam and all these other powerful moves. Hyper Beam for Boom Burst and stuff. Those moves are still stronger, despite the Amplifier boost. However, Draconic Wave is the same power, with Amplifier, it's the same power as Draco Meteor without it, so... but you will get Draco Meteor a little bit earlier than Draconic Wave, because the Draco Meteor move tutor is as soon as you get the Pony Island in Seafall Village, so... that's probably mid-50s, while Draconic Wave is like early 60s, but still incredible nonetheless. Bug Buzz becomes 114 base power, and it has a 30% chance to flinch, so that's great. And then you get a couple of other really, really awesome things. So early game, as Vibrava, you have Commotion, which is a which becomes 102 base power and always confuses. And then you have Air Blast, which I actually added to the sound move list as well. I also added Belch and Synchro Noise, which is also now normal type. And those moves are all buffed. So Air Blast is 65 base power but it always crits, and it's 95% accurate. But with the Amplifier boost on top of that, it becomes 117 base power, so it's only 3 points weaker than Hurricane in this hack, and has 10 more accuracy, and it always crits, meaning you can use something like Draco Meteor plus Aero Blast, you know? You drop your special attack stat, you then click Aero Blast. You can also use that with Bug Bomber, which also always crits. However, Bug Buzz is 1.5 base power stronger with Amplifier than Bug Bomber is. Bug Bomber is 112.5 base power overall because it hits 3 times and it crits. It's like Surging Strikes, but special, and Bug type. So other really cool stuff. So early on at level 33, you get Synchronize, which can be really good for Guzma. Synchronize is a 120 base power normal type move that gives you a +1 special attack boost, which is huge. The downside being it only works on Pokemon that, in Vibrava's case, are Bug and Ground. So as long as they share a type with you, so for example, versus Guzma, you could, in a Mally Garden, you could use Synchronize and get that huge special attack boost. That's a 144 base power move. That early on is very, very strong, even if it's not Stab. So that's great. It's a little bit niche and gimmicky, but to boost your special attack stat on a Pokemon with 122 base speed that early on in the game, when most Pokemon don't have boosting options that early, it's still worth maybe keeping for a few levels, as situational as it is. It's better on a Pokemon with more common dual types. For example, it's great on Exploud for early on, because Exploud is pure normal and there's a lot of normal types. But yeah, Flygon. It's a couple other good options it has for Amplifier are Uproar and Belch are the last 2 options they didn't cover yet. Also Boom Burst it has, of course, at very early on. Boom Burst at 41 is very early. And that's just a very strong 150 base power, 0 drawback normal type coverage move. Not coverage necessarily, but just a neutral hit on a lot of things. It's very strong and worth keeping for at least a few levels. And then you get Belch and Uproar. Belch is awesome. Belch gives you a +1 special attack boost, 120 base power, 100% accurate, and it is also boosted by Amplifier to 144 base power. So what you can actually do is you can run Endure, which is now a TM. You can slap that on once you learn Belch, and you can use Endure plus Belch plus Weakness Policy versus a Fairy type, and you're at +2 special attack, and then you get even more. Or you can use Endure plus Select-Berry for that speed boost, or Endure plus Pataya Berry, if you're not fighting a Fairy type, whatever it may be. Point is though, that's super, super, super cool. I love that, and it is a very good answer for Fairy types. Although you do of course have Iron Tail, which is buffed, Sludge Bomb, Gunk Shot, other good Poison Fang, etc. You have other good coverage for fairies. Everything in this hack has incredible coverage for the most part, but it's still really cool nonetheless. And then lastly, for Amplifier moves, you do have Uproar, which becomes 144 base power. That is essentially special fighting type Outrage, or there's a couple of moves I made like that, like Pedal Dance. It's a better Pedal Dance. It's basically fighting type Pedal Dance, but it doesn't confuse you and it always lasts for 3 turns. So that's very good. I believe that's at 53 or 55 I put it. So that's very good for Pony Island as a fighting type move that's boosted by Amplifier, 144 base power. So that's the Amplifier stuff, and Vibrava also has that. So Vibrava does not have access to Draconic Wave. So something I've done in this hack is I've made it so a lot of Pokemon are viable with a Violite, especially the Pseudos. So the mid-evolutions of all the Pseudos are viable Pokemon on their own, and you could theoretically wait a few levels or even use it the whole game. I personally love Vibrava. I think it's really cool. It's a really, really underrated design. I love Flygon too. I love the whole line. I love Trapinch too. All 3 of them are super awesome. I also love the Bug Ground typing. Bug Ground is an arguably better offensive combo than Bug Dragon, but Bug Dragon has very good neutral coverage, especially thanks to the fact that it's now neutral. Bug is now neutral on 3 more types. So that, for example, Fairies, Bug Dragon would suck because of Fairy, but now you can hit those neutrally, not to mention you have all those coverage moves. Man, there's so much really awesome stuff here to get into. So Vibrava is faster, and with a Violet, it is still probably a little bit further than Flygon because of that HP stat. Not to mention you're not running a Violet on Vibrava unless you're in a very specific situation. Because again, one beautiful thing about this ROM hack is you do have access to infinite usability capsules and instant EV training. So you should be switching your sets around depending on the occasion. So for example, Flygon, it's a mixed attacker. One boss fight, you're going to run physical. Next boss fight, special. It's as simple as that. That's definitely something you're going to want to consider. For example, physical Flygon is great because he has access to Swords Dance and Bulk Up and Drain Punch and Fire Punch and Thunder Punch and Wild Charge and Play Rough and Takedown, which is a fighting type, and all these moves are buffed or changed, so I would definitely just check out the description below. But you can also do really cool stuff like False Strike plus Finishing Blow, which is awesome. Also, First Impression is very powerful on Flygon as a stat move. Not to mention, don't sleep on Levitate. That's also a great ability. Obviously, you're going to be running Amplifier, say 80% of the time, but that 20% of the time you need to switch your Flygon in on a ground type move, or you need to take a ground type move. or switch in on one of them and fight against the ground type, then you slap on Levitate with that infinite ability capsule. You know, that's a really great thing about having Levitate as a secondary ability. Obviously, Amplifier is still your main ability though. And I'll get into Trap Pinch in a little bit, but another cool little thing I do with their stats is that Trap Pinch's attack and Vibraba's special attack is both 113, and then Flygon gets +5 from both, which is kind of a nod to the original game because originally Trap Pinch actually has the same attack as Flygon. Trap Pinch is supposed to be super strong. I mean, looking at his dex entries and also the fact that he's based on a fucking antlion. And it's funny because in the real world, like, antlions are basically you basically stay as an antlion almost forever, and then you are only your final, I believe, what is it called? There's a word for the damselfly? No. Whatever type of bug they end up, not a dragonfly, they aren't technically dragonflies, I believe. But yeah, the larval stage is what antlions are for most of the time, and then they eventually like metamorphosize, whatever. Okay, you don't need a fucking biology lesson, but I just think that's cool that Trap Pinch is really strong as well. Trap Pinch is great. It'll probably be available in Sandy Cave, so that's really cool. That's before Hala, and you do resist fighting, so that's really good for Hala. You also have a good defense stat, great attack stat, so you can run stuff like Set Amend plus Sand Force to heal up 2/3 in the sand, and you get a 50% boost on moves like Dig or Magnitude for Hala. And you also have Strong Jaw Crunch, Strong Jaw Jagged Fang, Strong Jaw Psychic Fangs, Fire Fang, Thunder Fang, and Poison Fang, which are great. And then you of course evolve at level 25. You could actually hold off to evolve if you really wanted to, because you can actually get all those moves as soon as you evolve, so you don't miss out on any moves if you wait to evolve. So you can actually wait to evolve, but I would probably argue that Vibrava is a better Pokemon for Totem Lurantis than Trap Pinch is, so it's a little bit of a gimmicky thing. But it's funny, if there ever is a Showdown server for this hack, like if somebody ever does help me make that implement into Showdown, I mostly want it for the damage calc because that's really useful for Nuzlocke and stuff. But if there ever was a Showdown meta, it would be really funny to see Trap Pinch as like a viable trapper with first impression and shit. That'd be really funny. But yeah, man, I love these changes. So yeah, Vibrava is technically, you could totally use Vibrava past the evolution level for Flygon because of that, because of the fact that it's 10 points faster, and it does have a different dual stab combination, so they're different Pokemon. However, you do miss out on a lot of important coverage. For example, you have to rely on Uproar for your fighting coverage, and then you have to rely on Heat Wave for your fire coverage, which isn't bad at all. It's pretty great actually. It's 65 base power, always crits, 95% accurate. But you know, stuff like Flamethrower is a little bit more consistent, and stuff like, what was the other thing? I don't know. But they have all kinds of awesome coverage you can see here. Their Energy Wall, Power Whip, Stone Edge, Focus Blast. They also do get Dragon Dance and Quiver Dance. So I gave Flygon Bulk Up and Swords Dance because I want physical sets to be more viable, because you might look at Amplifier and be like, okay, well, I'm just going to run special sets, but that's not how this hack works. Obviously, play however you would like. You know, if you want to just breeze through the game and, you know, and just play for fun and, you know, not care about that strategic stuff, then go ahead and, you know, try to beat it and use whatever you want and just use special Flygon all the time. But it also depends on your IVs and your EVs. Say, for example, you have, you know, like a plus attack nature or really good attack IVs and then really bad special attack IVs, and you would actually be more inclined to run physical sets most of the time. But even then, you can still switch between the two sets. You know, you have great coverage on both sides. I mean, it has a plethora of incredible coverage moves here. And then it does have Dragon Dance and Quiver Dance late game for Pony Island. Quiver Dance is now just special Dragon Dance. It no longer gives you a special defense boost because Lunar Dance now gives you the same effect that Quiver Dance used to, which obviously Flygon doesn't get. But yeah, Quiver Dance and Dragon Dance are both great boosting options. And then you also have Quiver Dance being the last one, and then of course you have Bulk Up and Swords Dance for earlier in the game for mid 40s, which is like Ula Ula, which will be very good. They can also just run a mean like physical U-turn set, you know, like U-turn, First Impression, plus whatever else you want to run, you know, plus Dragon Rush, which is Dragon type Close Combat or whatever. Another really cool thing that Flygon can do is False Strike plus Finishing Blow on physical sets. So False Strike is a 45 base power move that comes from False Swipe, so it'll never kill the opponent, which might sound bad, but that's actually really good because you can essentially nerf the opponent in front of you to the point where they're doing 0 damage with stat dropping moves, and then you can, you know, go into your Flygon and click that False Strike, and then False Strike will give you an accuracy and attack boost, which the accuracy boost isn't the best, but the accuracy boost would be useful for Iron Tail, Gunk Shot, and Stone Edge, all of which are 90% accurate, and Power Whip. Those 4 moves are all 90% accurate coverage moves that you have, and they're all 110 to 120 base power, so that's really nice to have. Oh, Stone Edge is technically 80 and it always crits, but same thing. That's really sick, alright? Yeah. What else? Oh yeah, so what you can do is you can use False Strike, get that attack boost and that accuracy boost, and then you can click Finishing Blow because they'll be on 1 HP, and Finishing Blow will give you +3 attack when you knock them out with it. and it also always crits, which is not super relevant in this case if you're using that specific strategy, but it's still great nonetheless. And then you can be +4 attack. Say you use Fall Strike into Finishing Blow to kill the opponent, now you're +4 attack. You can also use that with stuff like Agility or any other thing you want to run, really. Again, Levitate's great, Amplifier is incredible. Trap Pinch is great. You can also use that Ability Changer. Ability Changer is useless on Trap Pinch until you beat Hala, because you don't get any biting moves until after Hala. Then you'll be using Strong Jaw or Sand Force until 25, or later if you wait to evolve. Another thing to keep in mind about evolving your Vibrava is that you have to remember that you can evolve whenever you want, but you can never turn it back into Vibrava. So you might want to, you might be inclined to evolve it instantly, and then 3 boss fights later, you're like, oh shit, Vibrava actually outspeeds this really important Pokemon, and its ground stab is stronger than its dragon stab in this situation. Oh fuck, I made a mistake. That kind of thing. It's a little bit situational, but I personally love Vibrava, so waiting to evolve is definitely a viable choice for sure. That speed is important. Not that Flygon is a bad speed tier, 112 is incredible as well. You can always check out the speed tier guide here and look at its speed, and you can see what they stack up. Of course, with a Choice Scarf or a +1 boost, it's even faster, but even on its own, it's a great speed tier, 112. The reason Vibrava is faster is just because it makes a lot of sense. Them as a whole being mixed makes a lot of sense. I mean, Vibrava especially is all about making sound waves, and it also talks about like digestive juices and guzzling them. Now I forgot to get the Acid Spray. Is there even room for it though? There's no room for it. Yeah, it's whatever. Acid Spray would have been cool. I could put Commotion at 25 and Acid Spray. Yeah, I'll rework it. I'll get them Acid Spray at one point, because I just think it's really cool, like flavor-wise, because of that dex entry, and also because that's what these types of bugs actually do in real life. So it's cool. Yeah, I love these changes. Super cool. One of the cooler pseudos, obviously Aggron is up there. Metagross, Hydreigon, those are my favorites now. But of course, there's gonna be even more pseudos as we go on. There's one that's really cool in Gen 5 that I'm excited to. One that wasn't actually 2. Oh shit, there's 2 awesome ones that weren't pseudos before that are now pseudos for Gen 5 that I've planned. I'm so hyped to get to more Pokemon, man. So yeah, I think I've really covered everything. I mean, they have great coverage, great Amplifier moves, very powerful, very fast, tanky. I think I covered all bases here. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. You also have great utility. For example, in the early game, you have all these other good moves when you evolve, like Siphon heals you, it's Bug-type Draining Kiss, but better. Leech Life heals you by the same amount. Leech Life and Siphon heal you by 100% HP and are 60 and 50 base power respectively. So that could be great. That's really great. You have dual stat priority on all fronts. You have Silver Gale, Mud Shot, and First Impression, and Creeping Strike for priority, so that's great. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think I covered about everything. There is a couple other little things I could talk about here, like Whirlwind is a great utility because it's priority now and has 3 PP. Z Supersonic gives you +2 special attack, all that kind of cool stuff. Aeroblast is there. Dive Bomb is also there, Dual Wing Beat, etc. All kinds of insane coverage. You can see it all here, okay? I'm not going to go into every little detail. I think you guys can probably figure it out just by looking at the sheets and stuff, hopefully. So I think I covered everything. Yeah. Bug Dragon, super unique. Only other one is the Omega. Sick typing. Bug Ground, also a sick typing. Only other ones are Nincada and Pinsir. Obviously, Pinsir being physical and Nincada being an NFE. That isn't intended to be viable, so it's kind of just for early game. But still, Vibrava and Pinsir are the Bug Ground goats, and then Flygon and Yamega are the Bug Ground Chads. I love both of them. I love all those guys. Ugh, I love bugs. Okay. I'm gonna shut up now. I think I got everything covered. So, yeah. If you like this style of content, if you like this type of change in a ROM hack, make sure you check out all the other changes in the description down below. You can also check out my other videos because I do release videos for every Pokemon that I do complete. So you can either watch the videos or just look at it from the sheets, and you can do both, whatever you want to do. I do have a link to the Discord server in the description down below as well. You can get live updates on my progress in there. You can talk to other people in there, that kind of thing. That's really fun. Yeah, I think I got everything covered, so thank you so much for listening, everybody. Bye. Goodbye. No. Last thing I wanted to say. One more. I wanted to compare Flygon to Omega again because people still might be thinking the Omega is better. First of all, that bulk is important. Second of all, the mix attacking is important. Third of all, Amplifier makes it specially stronger. However, you don't have Tinted Lens. But to make up for not having Tinted Lens, you have coverage. Yamega has limited coverage. It only has like Flying, Psychic, Ghost, Grass. Like, it's good enough. Like, don't get me wrong, Omega's coverage is good enough. Not to mention it has Tinted Lens, so it doesn't need any coverage, technically, and that great dual stab combo. But Flygon has stuff to hit its resistances super effectively, reliably. You know, fighting, fire, ground, you know, those 3 types especially really cover, you know, fair, steel, poison, you know, those coverage moves especially hit everything. But again, keep in mind that in this ROM hack, you should be preparing for every fight, at least somewhat. Even if you're not using the trainer docs, even if you're playing blind trainers, like you're not looking at them. If you're not doing Nuzlocke, for example, you might want to do that just to, you know, make it more fun for yourself, which is something you could do, but I would probably look at it once you wipe once. I would probably end up looking at it after you wipe. Like, do it blind once, then look at it, and if you wipe, then look at it and try to prepare an actual strategy, because going in blind is going to make it difficult most of the time for you, and you'll probably wipe in a lot of fights if you go in blind. If you go in with prep, though, you can easily beat them. You just need to be smart about it. Not easily, but depends on your team composition and all that stuff. So there is 720 fucking Pokemon here. Also, yeah, this is just extra stuff I'm talking, so I'll probably wrap the stuff. I need to shut up. Yeah, no, honestly, I'm just gonna leave it off there. I think I got everything covered. So thank you very much, everybody. I love these changes. Hopefully you do as well. Again, link in the description for this Google Doc or Google Sheet. You can see everything. You can, I have a little type change cheat sheet now. If you're new, if you're returning and you didn't check catch that in the last video, I did add this really nice little sheet to look at all those. Speed tiers are still here. You know, you got all the new abilities and how all that buffs and type chart changes, and of course the most important one is the moves. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Bye bye.